Perfect Florida home. Whether you're buying or selling, I'm here to make it easy. I'm Terry Callahan with Anchor Realty Florida, and I've helped many folks from first-time home buyers to retirees find success in the Bay County real estate market. I'd love to find just the right home and neighborhood to match your family's needs. Let's make your dream home on the Florida Panhandle a reality. Call or text me, Terry Callahan, at 850-919-5025.
Krispy Kreme and Hershey's are partnering for the latest edition of the annual Chocomania collection. Enjoy the all-new Hershey's Chocolate Salted Caramel Cheesecake Donut, the Chocolate Buttercream Donut, the Chocolate Chip Donut, and the Hershey's Classic Chocolate Donut Returns. Available now for a limited time at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937, where you get them hot.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport. The best place in town to take a leak.
Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. They take pride in caring for their customers' property by providing lawn and whole house pest control. Whether you have roaches or any other unwanted bugs in your home, Turf Pro has you covered. Or if your lawn needs weed control, fertilize, insect control, Turf Pro has you covered by providing custom treatments to meet your property's needs. No property is the same, so why should it be treated that way? Turf Pro, where the blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Call 850-890-5820.
Powered by Panama City Toyota. Your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Inside Drive. Live and local from the Gulf Studios. It's the next evolution of Sports Talk Radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bet.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Monday morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm sitting inside the Golf Plus studios. Weather today not looking so good for golf. Maybe Jay will make a random appearance. I highly doubt it, but some good laughs.
Oh, LOL action
getting
there.
you laughing a little early in the show today. But yeah, stay weather aware out there. It looks like that little front may be breaking up a little bit, but there's a lot of rain on the way. So I'd imagine any afternoon outdoor activities with school or whatever you may be doing likely not to happen. But again, always stay weather aware this time of year here in Bay County as we get a lot of hot and cold fronts mixing together, bringing those frontal boundaries in and potential severe weather with them as well. But we appreciate you tuning in on 104.3 in Panama City and Panama City Beach and 101.9 down there in Port St. Joe. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. All you got to do is search up ESPN Northwest Florida. You'll find our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitch channel. I believe it's called a channel on Twitch, if I'm not mistaken. Again,
sounds about right.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I've never been a Twitcher or a tweaker.
Oh, yeah, never been a tweaker. I've been a little bit of a twitcher whenever I'm having like muscles.
Oh yeah,
you know, and then
in the
sometimes
eyes. Yeah.
Oh, the eyes, man, that's the worst. Or you just get like the random one in the bicep, or
That's right.
God forbid the back.
Oh, yeah, not good. Back spasms, indeed. But yes, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, 3 great local shows every day. The Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9, Inside Drive right here from 11 to 1, and, of course, the Afternoon Underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m. You can watch and listen right there live, or go back and watch it after the fact as well. And, of course, you can head over to our website, espnpc.com. You can check out that Scorpion TV, the streaming service. It's only going to cost you $41.99 if you use ESPNNW as your code. That'll get you $41.99 a month for over 2,000 streaming channels on demand. Includes all your sports channels, 10,000 movies on demand. That also includes pay-per-view events, pretty much any sport action you can kind of watch, and for fractions of the price, I guarantee that you're paying right now. Again, that's Scorpion TV. You can find that at the top of our homepage at espnpc.com. You can also head over to your Google Play or Apple Store. If you're looking to take us wherever you go, you can download the free ESPN Northwest Florida app. All you got to do is search up 104.3. It'll show up on your first page of search results there. Download it, open it up, boom, hit play, and you can hear streaming ESPN Northwest Florida. Whatever time of day, middle of the night, whatever it may be, if you want to hear some ESPN Northwest Florida and you don't have access to your radio, but you probably have access to your phone because everybody's got attached to their hip nowadays. You don't see the hip clips as much as we used to back in the day.
No, I probably have about 5 of them. Well, not anymore. I try to throw them away. You know how it is. It's kind of like saving the box from your iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm
like, why did I keep this?
And I always would be like, man, I'm going to use this. It's like as soon as I take it out that daggum holster, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to keep on doing this every time. Yeah.
I never quite understood. I mean, it'd take me longer.
Back in the flip phone days.
Different story. You just popped it right off. Yeah. This, I mean, you taking it out of your pocket probably takes just as the same amount of time as pulling it out of that little clip.
Oh, but then you have to get it back in. Plus, I've got the OtterBox, so it's a little bit more bulkier and all of that stuff. Because the iPhone, I think it was iPhone 3G. That was the first iPhone that I had. So it was, relatively new. It wasn't the first one. But I remember going to AT&T and them showing me the OtterBox. And he takes the phone, he takes his phone that's in OtterBox and just like throws it across the room and it doesn't break. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. So ever since then, dude, I've been like
committed.
Full on, 100% OtterBox.
I get it.
And you got the screen protector to go along with that. Come on now.
Can't beat it. Although a lot of these companies are offering insurance included with your plans, at least the one I have is now. So
I'd rather just have my own insurance. So with the good old OtterBox.
That's true. Because if it does, they're ones that'll get you a new.
I don't know about that. I've never had one break. I've never, and I've had some crazy instances where I'm like, this thing, it works, right? Because it's the one that's, like it's got the plastic, you put it inside the plastic case, and you got the rubber coating, and then it's, got everything closed up there. So, and according to Boston Sim here, OtterBox has a lifetime warranty. So there is.
Yeah, I knew
that is the lifetime warranty on the phone, or is it on the case? Well, we're sorry that your phone broke, but we will.
OtterBox. It did work, but I thought it was on the phone, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I love OtterBoxes, though, so.
And it's otter, not outer.
Yeah.
Like the critter.
Yeah, like the critter.
Those are cute little critters, those otters.
I got I think it was a life-proof case, because I was, going to the critical.
I had one of those once,
I wasn't a big fan.
It's not the same as the OtterBox,
No.
Yeah. I had an OtterBox once.
An otter could be in the water too, right?
Yeah, that's true, because it's an otter, and that's what they do. They swim.
This one's not water. I would not put this phone with this particular case in the water.
It's still supposed to be technically water resistant, though, right?
Yeah, I don't play those.
I don't like to roll the dice.
Plus, I don't do like AT&T or Verizon anymore. I've been doing Straight Talk for over a decade now, so I don't have the insurance or anything like that. It's just But my monthly bill has worked, and during Hurricane Michael, I had service. So there's that. I'll stick with them.
That's a double win there if I've ever heard of one. That's for sure. All right, we're going to talk a little bit of random stuff here in the first segment, brought to you by OtterBox. Just kidding, not really, but it seemed like it. I failed to mention last Friday, I wanted to talk about the historic night for Cooper Moss in the victory over Bozeman. I believe that was last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. It was,
I believe it was Thursday,
I meant to talk about it on Friday, but I didn't get to it because Coach Haddad was in here, and we had lots of fun stuff to talk about. So, but according to WMBB.com, that's mypanhandle.com, it was a historic night for Arnold senior pitcher Cooper Moss, who I believe is already committed to Florida, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. He had surpassed 300 career strikeouts and shutting out Bozeman in a complete game masterpiece. The University of Florida signee finished the 1-0 victory with a career-high 14 strikeouts, allowing just 3 hits and 2 walks against the number 21 ranked team in the state. I know Bozeman had beat him earlier in the season, too, so a little 1-0 revenge game there for the Marlins. Moss entered the night with 298 Ks and finished with 312 and counting for his remarkable high school career. Arnold improved to 14-6 after that victory. Their next game will be tomorrow against Caneland. The Bucks fell to 16-3 and visited Cottondale the next day. I'll talk about some of those results in our final segment. But I would have been remiss if I didn't mention Cooper Moss breaking the 300 strikeout number. So congratulations to Cooper Moss. I know he's going to go on to have a great college career over there at Florida.
Yeah, going to be real interesting having him and Eli Blair playing over there for the Florida Gators. So it'll be that'll be cool. But great high school career to this point. I mean, hits a ton of home runs. Is great on the bump as well. And so congratulations to him. But also. What Bozeman is doing this year, very impressive. A huge win there by Arnold to kind of get back there. But even when you're falling to a school that's as successful as what Arnold's been this year, they've had some bumps in the road for sure. But just 1-0, that ain't too bad. So they've had 2 really good battles this year.
No doubt. And obviously Bozeman, a lot smaller school, and being ranked 21st in the state's pretty darn impressive. Kind of the stretch across the Panhandle for baseball is always kind of, at least since we've lived here, always kind of been our strong suit as far as high school sports. Football's slowly getting there, but baseball is just is obviously been on fire, and I think that kind of bleeds down into, obviously there's a ton of travel ball in this area, and the rec's kind of getting there again. I know Panama City's doing Little League now. You still got the Frank Brown stuff going on as well. Maybe want to see a little more rec baseball. There's kind of that's why we don't play travel baseball, because we just haven't dove into travel sports yet.
Yeah, and I will also say too, if you're playing multiple sports, I'm not saying don't play travel baseball. But I see so many conflicting. If you know, which you'll never know, but you want to be a professional baseball player, maybe going into travel ball is the answer. But I've been listening to scouts, and you've even you had the guy on, I can't remember his name. We talked about it last week very briefly, but he was with the Braves. He was responsible for Ronald Acuna Jr., I believe, signing with the Braves, and. Like I've seen a bunch of scouts talking about travel baseball is not the way. In fact, the way that they're doing Gordon Blakely, the way that they're doing it over there in the DR and some of the countries that just Venezuela, that's the way that it should be done. And it's one of those things where you have so many people playing travel ball, and it's a great money grab. And I'm not trying to take away from it. I'm just going off of what I'm not a scout. I'm not even involved in the sport that I love the way that I probably should be to an extent, but it's if the scouts are saying the travel it's one of those topics, so that's a touchy topic to the people who, if they're travel ball heavy, they're going to fight you tooth and nail on it. But I feel like if you're playing multiple sports, like, just get good. What did we just talk about off the air before we started? Texas Tech and Florida. Make your free throws. Fundamentals of the game will always outshine the fancy and finesse.
That's what these guys, the guys, even at the guys and girls, at the top level of whatever sport, they're still constantly working on fundamentals. And you see fundamentals let down so many teams in different situations. And, is it boring? Is it not fun to work on the fundamentals? Of course. That's why they shouldn't be called fundamentals. They should be called boring mentals. But you got to put in that work. That's what's going to separate you from the other people that don't want to put into the work. You may have all the talent in the world, but if you're not working on fundamentals day in and day out, if you're trying to specialize in that sport, it's just going to make it really tough because there's somebody else out there doing it.
2 examples examples to go off of that. Bo Nix was doing like a camp, and he was getting the guys ready to do drop back drills, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I know that you guys have been doing this for a long time, but guess what? When I first got drafted, went to the league, guess what we were working intensively on?
Yeah.
This right here. So no matter what level it is that you get to, you will always be working more on the fundamentals than anything else that you work on. And then you had, I don't know if this is recent or if this was last offseason when Luka was still part of the Mavericks, but JJ Redick, he had his podcast, right? So he had Luka on, and he was like, I'm sure that you've you've worked on in practice missing free throws. And he was like, yeah, I did it in a game last year. Like the smallest of things, but that's why we work on things in practice, and that's why to some extent, and I don't know what the travel schedule and what the practice but practice is actually, to a large extent, practice is way more important than in games. It's just hard to wrap your mind around that statement when you're a youngin', because you practice all week to play in the game.
And you're excited to play in the game.
Exactly.
That's what you get.
But practice is like, oh, we got to go through this, and it's it feels a little bit looser, but every level that you go up, practice is intensified.
Absolutely, absolutely. The coaches get tougher, and they hold you more accountable as you go up, and especially when you get to coaches that are getting paid. They're not there. You're not there to waste their time. If you're going to waste their time, you're gone. So, discipline, fundamentals. I guess we're preaching on youth sports this morning, but even in the 7-on-7 tournament we played in this weekend, I mean, what separates the really good teams from the not so really good teams? Height, of course. Route running, defensive discipline. When we lost all 3 of our pool games, unfortunately, but our first playoff game yesterday, we came out, we played disciplined defense, we stayed in our zones, and it worked. And we had a great game. We scored 3 touchdowns because we punched them in the mouth, and they didn't know how to. They weren't expecting our little Beach Marlins 7-on-7 team to do that to them, and they could never catch back up. But it was, it all goes back to fundamentals and discipline. And it's with every particular sport. Got a funny story coming out of that 7-on-7 too. So one of the teams, it was actually ended up being the team we played in the semifinals, or excuse me, the quarterfinals that we won. They had a kid, this number 2 kid. He was huge. Like for a 10U team, he was just massive. I think I might have sent you a picture. I don't know if I did or not. But anyway, finds out that he was actually ineligible. He was too old to be on that team. So even though we beat him in the quarters, their other games that they played in the pool play were forfeited essentially. Yeah. So we still beat the team, but and that's just what drives me crazy about some of this stuff. Like, you care that much about winning that you're going to jeopardize the rest of your team by putting somebody that's clearly not supposed to be in that age group. But yeah, that was wild. It was the first time I've seen it actually, come to fruition.
Well, and then also doesn't some of that go back on the organization though?
100%. It's on the team.
How did you let this guy get all the way to play in the games?
Yeah. They apologize for that for sure. And I don't know, because this particular organization, when you get there, they actually take a picture of you, because you have to submit a picture with your birth certificate and all that stuff. And then it verifies that you're actually... Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
No.
So yeah, now they got all these kids in their database.
What happened to good old integrity, man?
I don't know when integrity left everybody, but I feel like it's been gone now for a long time. So even with the facial recognition software,
say about
there's still
negative 3000 BC is when integrity.
Right off the get-go. Yeah. The Apple, right? The Apple.
Or 3000, negative 3000. 3000 BC.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, negative 3000 AD, right? Yeah. Oh goodness, but yeah, I don't know. I guess at some point we care more about winning than we do about developing kids and doing what's right for these kids.
Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things that goes hand in hand. I mean, Al Davis, win, baby, win. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, all of that kind of stuff.
That's true.
I feel like those kind of things.
That's at the highest level of sport.
Like keep that stuff out of rec league. How would you feel if you were the parent and it was roles, it's roles reversed? Your kid is the younger kid playing in the league he's supposed to, and some other parent is bringing in a kid or some other coach.
I live that. Right. I mean, that's and it's obviously it's upsetting, but it's just disappointing as well for the whole. You're jeopardizing the entire integrity of the event.
And for me, I'm one of those, well, it is what it is. Like, if I'm playing pickup basketball, I'm not calling no foul unless you push me flat over. So it's like, if you want to cheat, all right, well, we're just going to bring our best to the table and just, give it everything we got. But I was like, because I just don't like
we
complaining.
have the integrity, and and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like that's
what the head coach is for.
That's it. But it was a fun event. I thought, we did the pylon tournament with our Dynasty 12U team. Liam played with the Beach Marlins 10U team in this elite 7-on-7. It was kind of fun. They had Prime, the Logan Paul, or I think it's Logan Paul. Yeah,
it's
not
Logan,
Jake.
yeah.
They were a sponsor, so like at Dave & Buster's, the first 50 athletes that showed up got some free Prime swag, and they were interviewing the kids and stuff like that. And then all the championship games were live streamed on YouTube, which was pretty cool. So I thought they did a really good job. And Pylon was great too, but I felt like the media coverage for the Elite 7-on-7 Elite was pretty impressive. So very much enjoyable, and we played on the turf.
Yeah, no, I noticed that.
So I still got all those little crumb rubber things in my shoes right now, which is fine.
I used to love that when I was a kid, like going to playgrounds and stuff, and just all the cut up tires. And all that good stuff.
The carcinogens. That's and all that in there.
Oakland Terrace used to be nothing but just.
Oh, really?
Not the fields, but the playground. It used to, I think it's more. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been there, but back when I was growing up, after I was growing up, more or less when I was taking my brothers to the park and stuff, it was all.
I think it's wood chips tires. Now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking like wood chips or mulch or something.
Yeah, there is a 30 for 30 on college soccer players and stuff, especially goalkeepers. And there's a link between, and I don't think they use the crumb rubber anymore. I think it's some kind of man-made little rubber pellet, because the tires had the carcinogens in them. So these goaltenders that were playing for so long, they were getting cancer because of it was either a 30 for 30 or an E60. It was a long time ago, and I think obviously they've changed what they're using. Obviously, they thought being able to use the cut-up tires was a way to get rid of the tires, but apparently the tires had carcinogens in them and caused cancer.
Killed two birds with one stone, ended up killing a couple of people along the way as well.
It's just wild stuff. Like, oh, this is a good idea. Oh, wait, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And we gotta regroup. Oh, goodness.
It's so, it's so wild because you just never know.
No.
Anything.
You really don't. And
you like to think that the societies care a little bit more, but
protect you.
Yeah. Well, maybe not even just protect you, but just care more. Like, oh, maybe we're getting closer to a cure after this last $10 billion that we got. But oh goodness,
circle.
You gotta keep that circle
of corruption.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I didn't even talk about the fight, the Bats, or the Braves, but we'll get into that here in the next segment. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit of the March Madness. Yeah, torpedoes. There was a funny one. I'll have to find it in the break. But you guys listen to the Inside Drive. When we get back, we'll talk about the fight, the Bats, and the Braves, and then dive into some March Madness action. We've got Alan Watson from Golf Plus coming up at 12:20. You guys listen to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your exclusive home for March Madness.
And it goes for the win!
We'll bring you every game live. It's the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, college basketball's premier event, and it's all right here.
And the dream is alive!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The dream, yes!
Good morning, this is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Monday. A chance of thunderstorms and light rain this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze around 11 miles per hour out of the south-southwest and temps near 73. Tonight we will have a variety of mostly clouds and a possibility of thunderstorms and be quite warm at 67. Lightly sprinkling tomorrow and a high 77. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Would you sell your business if the price was right?
Ready for a change? One more time for family or just not enjoying it anymore? First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida can help. Connect your business with serious buyers locally, nationally, and internationally while keeping the process confidential. Get a free, no-obligation business evaluation today. Call Natalie Kessler, broker, First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida at 850-588-1025. First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida is an independent franchise of First Choice Business Brokers Incorporated.
Experience a higher level of service. David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven for over 32 years. David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Klinger, names you've known and trusted in PCB for years with your fine jewelry and watch needs. Find that one-of-a-kind engagement ring, that special anniversary gift, or something colorful just for you. Amber and Russ will find it or build it for you. Serving Bay County and beyond in Lynn Haven at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 9th. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot.
Goddamn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I think this Monday is going to be a little ranty potentially, so I'll try to keep it to a minimum. But obviously, I observe a lot of things out there in the wild, and you know, when you have a radio show, you can bring some of those to the table. But
Ryan's rant.
Yeah, double R. All right, David, fight, Bats, or Braves? What do you want to do?
There's not much to talk about with the Atlanta Braves, man.
Just
which one is? For me, it's Bats or Braves.
Okay.
Because I haven't looked into the fight yet. You're talking about with Detroit and
and the Timberwolves. Yeah, kind of reminded me of the old '90s NBA for sure. Yeah. You know, with the just constant.
It's always Detroit, ain't it?
Yeah. And the one guy when he was walking off the court, he was pointing to his Detroit across his jersey. So it got heated. But you know what? Good. I like seeing that out there. It reminds you of the heyday of the NBA when it was these guys really cared. But yeah, since we started talking about that, obviously there was a fight that went down yesterday between the Pistons and the Timberwolves. Dante DiVincenzo, which is one of the best names in the NBA, Naz Reid, Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, Marcus Sasser, and Pistons head coach J.B. Bickerstaff and Wolves assistant coach Pablo Prigioni were all ejected from the game. It got intense after a kind of a hard foul down low, and they just started talking trash, and the rest was history. And it certainly did look like the old Detroit Bad Boys of the 90s with the Pistons there and the fights that used to go down. So just wanted to mention that. We'll talk some more about that tomorrow, obviously, with Doc A. On the Braves, I was just mentioning, I think there was 5 teams in the history of the Major League Baseball that have started 0-5. Obviously, they're 0-4 right now.
Yeah, but they're going to date with the Dodgers.
They could be 0-7 by the end of this series. But there's been 5 teams in MLB history that have made the playoffs after starting 0-5. So I think this game for the Braves is going to be a very huge and important one. Some of the teams that did end up winning their division starting not so great in the first 25 games. The 2024 Astros started 7-18, ended up winning their division and finished 88-73. The Rangers in 2015 started 9-16. They finished 88-74. One of the more impressive ones was the Twins back in 2006, started 9-16 and finished 96-66. The 2006 Padres started 10-15 and finished 88-74. And then the 05 Yankees finished 10-15 and finished 95-67. So it's not out of the mix, but it seems to be that 0-5 puts you in a pretty big hole. David, are you surprised at the Braves start? Obviously, the Padres are a good baseball team as well.
I don't know about surprised. I don't think that you could be surprised of losing 4 games when you get shut out in 2 of them.
2 of them, yeah.
It almost just kind of followed the momentum trend, if you will, because they get out to that lead. They're looking real good in the first game. Then Hector Neris comes in the 7th inning, and the lead just goes away. They lose 7-4. The next night, first pitch home run by Fernando Tatis against Reynaldo Lopez, and that was hard to come back from. They end up losing by 1 run there. Then the next evening, they lose by 1 run. Then last night was just kind of the culmination of it all. I'm not worried at all. 0-4 is we still have 162 games to play.
Absolutely.
So I'm not worried at that aspect. The thing is there's really, you can't even look at starting pitching as being the issue in this particular situation. Can the bullpen get better, or does the bullpen need to get better? Absolutely, but if you're not scoring runs, then it doesn't really matter what the bullpen is doing. So the offense has got to find its way, and then, once that starts clicking, I think we'll be in a better position. But that was the issue last year. Obviously, a crap ton of injuries, but the offense just was expected to live up to this certain level, and it was never able to achieve that. So hopefully we can get on the right track. Obviously, still need Ronald Acuna Jr. back. Jared Kelenic hit a home run. Will he, find his way into more of a platoon situation when Ronnie does come back? Those are kind of some of the things that I'm looking at. Do they end up filling that hole with Orlando Arcia? But we've got to get the guys hitting the ball, and until they can provide and we knew that it was going to be tough starting off with the Padres. You're on the West Coast to start it off. You've got the 4-game set, whereas a lot of teams were kind of playing a game, getting the day off, then playing on Saturday and Sunday for the 3-game series, and then you roll right into the LA Dodgers, who have looked, almost unstoppable to this point. So the first couple of seasons of this, the first couple of weeks of this season, it's a wash, let's see what this team has. There's how many times do we count teams out early on in the season and then they catch fire?
Back the Mets last year.
The Mets last year, the Diamondbacks were an example of that last year, and really even more so the year prior to that. So I'm not worried about things as they stand right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously got to get going though at some point. We went fight, Braves, and now we'll go bats. Obviously, the talk of Major League Baseball right now is certainly the torpedo bat, which is not illegal because MLB bats must be made of one piece of solid wood, be no more than 2.61 inches in diameter at their thickest part, and not exceed 42 inches in length. Because 2.60 was too short and 2.63 was too long, or 2.62 was too long.
It's 42 in length?
42 is the max length you can have.
I don't know if I've ever
That's
seen anyone
huge baseball bat.
swing a lumber like that. I think Barry Bonds was probably 30. I want to say he was like a
his bat always looked short in his.
It did. I wonder, actually, now that I'm thinking of that, because I want to say that he had more ounces than he did inches. All right, so when you get to high school baseball, you're swinging like a 32-29, 33-30, 33-30, kind of being like the status quo drop 3. And so that's kind of like the starting point. But then once you get guys to the pros, they'll swing like the 34-31 and really just what's comfortable for them. So, but... yeah, continue on with your statistics or whatever it is that you got on the torpedo bats. I have thoughts on this.
I got Barry Bonds' info.
Okay, what you got?
He had a Sam bat. That was the brand of it.
That's the one that's got like the picture of the bat.
Yeah, the Sam bat, the R2K1, a maple wood bat made with a large flared knob, well-balanced design, and a big barrel. The length was 34 inches, so very short compared to, obviously, the maximum length you can do. It weighed 31.6 ounces, so almost exactly the same in length and ounces as far as the number. Obviously, inches and ounces are two different types of measurements. The knob was a large flare designed specifically for Bonds. The handle was 16 inches, and the barrel was 2.5. So,
and he had the crisscross tape, too. That's one thing I definitely remember about that. I don't have an issue with it. Here's the thing, is everyone's like, oh, the Yankees torpedo bats, and it's like, there was 9 home runs hit. 2 of the guys who hit home runs were using the torpedo bats. Aaron Judge's success to this year has nothing to do with the torpedo bat because he doesn't use the torpedo bat. There's a couple of other players, according to Johnny Yankee Seed. I cannot confirm nor deny this, just going off of a guy who loves baseball's conversation. What he was having with me. There's a guy on the Brewers, at least, and maybe the Cardinals, who are using the torpedo bats as well. My problem with it is the area in which you're hitting the baseball, the sweet spot of the bat is being, I'm not saying that the sweet spot, but the area where the sweet spot is being enlarged. So that has to be somewhat of a factor. If you were to take, drivers,
so basically, like if this was the sweet spot, you're going like this with the sweet spot, stretching it out on the bat.
Almost this way, though, instead of it being long ways, you're almost making the sweet spot a little bit taller, if you will, right? Because that's how, you see what I'm saying? Like your ends are still about the same size, but the bat where you want to hit the ball is a little bit bigger. So it almost,
using the
like the newer drivers, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're hitting off of the, Persimmon woods?
Persimmon.
Persimmon?
You were close.
All right. So, like
sweet spot's the size
exactly,
of
but as
dime.
Drivers have evolved, you're getting a bigger sweet spot, which is great for the recreational golfers and all of that stuff.
That's why these guys don't use metal bats.
I don't know. I mean, it's not against the rules, so I don't have a complaint there.
Yeah.
It's just also, what are we doing here, you know? And at the end of the day, hey, if that's a viable feature for players in the long run, and if it makes them better, then all right, good. But I would just rather baseball bats, especially when we're using the wood, just stay the same. I mean, it's already in college.
You would think that everybody would have to use the same specifications. Obviously, your length is a personal thing.
Yeah, length and weight, I feel like is different. But as far as diameter of the barrel goes, from the handle to the end of the bat, I feel like should be the same. But hey, when you got a physicist over there at MIT that'll help make you something and it doesn't go against the rules, and again, it goes back to, if it's not against the rules,
why not?
Why not?
People just are always looking for something to get on people or complain about, especially when it comes to the New York Yankees. But again, like David said, the Yankees had a heck of a first 3 games. They hit 15 home runs. 2 potential explanations, obviously Aaron Judge being one of those, and what we were just talking about, the new torpedo bats, which are obviously the talk of the opening weekend for MLB. They're much thicker around the barrel than normal bats. In theory, more wood in the sweet spot equals more effective contact. Many Yankees...
Basically what I was just saying.
Absolutely. Many Yankees, including Anthony Volpe, he hit 2 home runs, Jazz Chisholm 3 home runs, and Austin Wells 2 home runs, used them this weekend. Like we said, they are perfectly legal and aren't anything new. Other teams have already started using them. The Twins have been spotted using them, amongst the other gentlemen that you had mentioned that we got texted in about. And Manny Machado joked about them on Sunday Night Baseball. But like David said, Aaron Judge is not using the torpedo bat and still hitting monster home runs. I believe he had 3 home runs in 4 innings. Aaron hits 3 home runs in 4 innings and almost hit a 4th in that last at bat as well. And they obviously set a franchise record with 9 home runs against the Brewers. They obviously could not be stopped in that 20-9 win. And also Milwaukee's pitching staff really isn't that great. But that's not as fun.
Yeah, but 9 home runs is 9 home runs, which is wild. The record is actually 10 home runs. The Blue Jays did that in 1987 against the Orioles. So it would have been cool to kind of see history there, as we saw quite a bit of history being set this weekend. So, really... I hate the Yankees, so there's that
they're like the Cowboys. You either love them or you hate them.
But it is one of those, hey, 9 home runs. We're early on into the season. The Yankees, if you're a Yankees fan and you're so worried about the rotation, especially because your ace Garrett Cole's going to be out, this is beneficial for the Yankees fans. Beneficial for baseball, because at the end of the day, I don't care what what I say, how I feel about the Yankees. The Yankees, when they're playing good baseball, is good for baseball. The Red Sox, when the Red Sox and the Yankees rivalry is at the the precipice of baseball, we're in a good spot right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like when Auburn and Alabama and football are both good. It's good for college football. But Judge recorded his 3rd game with 3 home runs. He's now number 2 on the all-time Yankees leaderboard, which is pretty insane given on how many great players have come through that organization. Only Lou Gehrig 4 has more 3-run home run games in his career. So Aaron Judge,
be involved in that type of Yankee history. I mean, I don't even know if did we have a show last Friday?
We did.
Okay, so we talked about Austin. So we did get to talk about Austin Wells. Yeah, because we had Brian Haddad on being the first. I mean, lots of great history being set this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Baseball, college basketball. basketball getting back into the fight game.
I like it. Ovi's getting closer.
Yeah, what's he at 5 now, right?
Yeah, he's only needs 5 more to get to that record. But
that's one of the things that might be one of the best of the weekend for me is they lost to the Minnesota Wild.
Yep.
Is that something that you have planned to talk about?
We can talk about it right now because we've kind of delayed March Madness a little bit.
So, I mean, how cool is that, though? Legend versus legend. Marc-Andre Fleury, this is going to be his last year. So teams
that was spectacular.
They lose, right? The Capitals lose 4-2 to Marc-Andre Fleury and the Minnesota Wild. And Ovi, when the guys are going into the locker room, turns everyone around, and they go and do a handshake with Marc-Andre Fleury. And it's like, man, there's a lot of hockey purists out there who don't want to see this record get broken, and I don't blame them on that. But if there's a guy who really just embodies what this sport is in the National Hockey League, it's Alexander Ovechkin. And I can't think of a guy who appreciates what it is that he's doing for the sport, man. And I thought that was a class act of him, especially in a losing effort.
Yeah,
guys are going to the locker room.
Wants to get off the ice and wash away the loss, but he recognized the magnitude of that situation last time they were going to be playing against Marc-Andre Fleury, who's had an amazing NHL career. Several Stanley Cups there with the Pittsburgh Penguins early on in his career. But Ovi.
They were rivals for crying out loud.
Absolutely. Before they changed all the divisions up. But he scored his 890th career goal in a 8-5 loss Sunday to the Buffalo Sabres. So now he's only 5 goals away from the Wayne Gretzky record, which is pretty darn impressive. Well, 4 goals away from tying the mark. 5 goals breaks the record, which, there's still plenty of games left, and the Washington Capitals obviously probably the best team in the Eastern Conference right now. So the likelihood of that could happen. And if he hadn't been out those 16 games because of a broken left fibula, he probably would have broke it already. But pretty impressive stuff at the age of 39 playing ice hockey at that high level. It's nuts. The same age, I couldn't even imagine. I could barely go up the stairs without getting tired anymore. But
one-on-one, Ovi versus LeBron, basketball and hockey.
Oh, Ovi on hockey for sure.
Well, no.
Basketball, I would give that to LeBron
as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty daggone impressive. Really, what both of them are doing is just outlandish.
Especially the longevity in these sports, especially on the hockey side, you just get your butt kicked game in and game out. And
I kind of hate that LeBron's career is going to be more marred long run by the chase against Michael Jordan, the chase, to catch the ghost, if you will. And I don't think long term it'll be like that, just kind of till the people, 40 and above.
Yeah, as they start getting older in this younger generation, they're all LeBron.
Which is great. No, it just stinks that it's we're talking more about the situation with Stephen A. Smith. And to some extent, that's LeBron's fault as well. But we're talking more about that than
what he's doing this
year. What he does all the time,
Yep, absolutely. I kind of liken, if I were to put an analogy with golf and hockey in the records, Ovechkin's
like a 9-iron. Oh, my bad.
But Ovechkin's like the Tiger Woods of golf with Jack. But Ovechkin's with Gretzky.
Like a respectful
Tiger
chase.
was with Jack.
Yeah.
So you have Tiger Woods now he's not going to now because so much has happened, but he was chasing those records from Jack Nicklaus that you knew were going to be really tough to be broken. And Ovi's been chasing this goal record from Gretzky that, do we ever really think it was going to be broken? I don't know. Do we ever think somebody was going to be able to play this long and score this many goals?
Right.
That was the big thing. So I kind of see that as two kind of a similar type of, now, Tiger's not going to break the record, and obviously Ovechkin is, because I think he's at least going to play one more year. I know playoff goals don't count, but pretty impressive stuff there by Alexander Ovechkin. All right,
do you have a golf comp, though, for LeBron and MJ?
Ooh, that's good, too. I'd probably use the same
Rory and anything. No.
Yeah, I'd probably use the same one.
Yeah.
I'd probably use the same analogy. LeBron to Jordan as
Tiger to Jack.
Tiger to Jack. Thank you. Yes, Tiger to Jack. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, it's time. We're going to talk some NCAA March Madness. Our Final Four is set. Getting ready next Saturday right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. You listen to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Man, you took 3 months off, Brandon. I'm gonna tell you something.
When you're up on a high ladder doing pressure washing, it's a little more difficult to make a phone call than it is to sit at your desk while you're counting paper clips.
That man got a super soaker pressure washer, Paul.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at Bill Bird Kia, PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage, $1,748 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
Broadcasting from the Golf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. From the beach to the bay to the backyard, it's the Inside Drive.
I've got sand in my underpants.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Inside these beautiful Golf Plus studios. You can check out Golf Plus both here in Panama City Beach and up in Dothan. In Dothan off Montgomery Highway, not Montgomery Highway. I learned how to pronounce that correctly as I became a Southerner in the Florida Panhandle.
Oh, yeah.
I used to say Montgomery, and Beth would be like, that is completely wrong. I was like, it's M-O.
You got to get your Earl over
it's
there.
Montgomery.
Montgomery.
All right, just like it's Montgomery Highway. There was another one, too, Monroe, Louisiana. It's not Monroe.
Yeah.
It's Monroe. It's like, then why spell it with an O? I don't know. This English language is a crazy thing.
I think there is some Monroes, too, that are with you.
Oh, okay.
You know?
That makes more sense.
But the one over there, you're talking about like over there by Tallahassee?
In Louisiana.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. I don't know what we were watching. Oh, no, we were watching American Idol last night, and there was somebody from Monroe, Louisiana, and that's how she pronounced it. But I will say, I've been watching American Idol since college. We used to all watch it all together, watching football all day on Sunday, and then rolling right into American Idol.
That's when Sunday Night Football is. How'd you do that?
I don't know. It was. I think it was in between.
Okay, gotcha.
Because we were in the Eastern time zone. So, but anyway, they're just. I don't know. Their singers are just. The stories are so good on there.
Are they?
It hits you in the feels.
There you go.
For sure. So that's why I like liking it.
Is Simon Cowell still on there?
No. It's right now. It's Carrie Underwood, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So Carrie Underwood is a former winner. And is now a judge. So that's pretty cool.
No,
that's the first season we watched in college, and there was a reason we watched that in college.
That was there you go. There was this show back in the day called Nash. It's the same premise, but it was about country music. Nashville Star, I think.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Erica Joe. I had a big crush on her.
Oh goodness. Let's see. Jay will be here on Friday, by the way. So originally I told him that I wasn't going to be. So he said he'd be here Friday. He was asking if you were going to be here, and I said yes.
Oh, but you're not going to be there.
Yes, we got to go.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. Yeah. It'll be fine. We'll have James. I believe. I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, I told him if we have a host, can you be there? So, because I originally told him I was going to be, because unfortunately, my mother-in-law, best mom, is going through a lot of health problems right now. So we're going to head up there Wednesday through Friday. So hopefully James Fife can fill in for me Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, thoughts and prayers, obviously, with you and Beth and the family all the way across the board. But yeah, if nothing else, even if James can't come, me and Jay could just do 2 hours of live brainstorming.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Just like him picking the guitar, we'll just start writing songs on
I'll
here.
have to listen to that via the app because I wouldn't want to miss that. That is for sure. All right, let's talk some March Madness. Real quick, I do want to, we picked the second day of the Sweet 16 games with Liam on last Friday and want to go over those results real quick. So the first game we picked was the Ole Miss and Michigan State game, and Ole Miss was a 3.5-point underdog and only lost that game by 3. So you, Brian, and Liam all took Michigan State covering that. I did take Ole Miss, and they covered it by 0.5 point there. But that's actually the only game.
How about that, though?
All of us only got one game right. That's what's crazy. Yes.
That's what happens when you get us pick by the spread, and this is why you don't do parlays, y'all.
That's it. Don't do those parlays. You'll lose.
Even though they're way much more, or they're so much more fun.
Yep. It's the sweat. You sweat more on those parlays because usually one of those legs breaks and falls down, and then the whole thing goes kaput. The next game we had was Tennessee and that would have been Kentucky.
Yeah,
Tennessee and Kentucky. And Tennessee was a 5.5-point favorite, and they did indeed cover those 5.5 points. And then we had Auburn and Michigan, and Auburn actually ended up covering the 9.5 points in that one. All 4 of us picked Michigan to lose by less than the 9.5 points. And then last, you and actually, David, of course, you got 2. You got more than everybody else.
Oh, look at there.
But that's not surprising. Purdue and Houston, and that ended up being a lot closer. I think it was, a 2-point game in that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Killed, didn't it?
It did, gosh. And then Purdue was getting 8.5. So you and Coach Haddad both took Purdue with the 8.5. Me and Liam laid the points with Houston, 8.5. And obviously, I think Purdue only lost by 2 in that game. Yeah, 62-60. Houston hung on late in that one. So you guys got that one. So you got 2. Brian got 1. Liam got 1, and I got 1. And we all got kind of different ones. It was interesting, but it just goes to show how hard it is to pick against the spread. All right, we all know the Final 4 teams. I want to talk real quick about those roads, plural, to the Final 4. We'll start with the Auburn Tigers, who first round beat Alabama State 83-63. Second round beat Creighton 82-70. The Sweet 16 beat Michigan 78-65. And then yesterday against Michigan State, kind of got ahead. Obviously, they got a big lead early in the game, up 23-8. Michigan State started good in the second half and got it within about 10 points. Ended up closing with only a 6-point victory, but a gritty win by the Auburn Tigers there as they held on to beat Sparty and make all number 1 seeds in the Final Four for the first time since 2008. Only the second time it's happened since the tournament has went to the 64-team format. Also, Coach, prior to Bruce Pearl, Auburn had never been to a Final Four. Now he's taken Auburn to 2 in 6 years. Bruce Pearl is one of only 8 active coaches of the 364 to make it to multiple Final Fours. Obviously, they're hoping to go a little further than the Final Four, but that was Auburn's road there, and some little history and some fun fact. And of course, the Duke Blue Devils look like one of the best, or the best team in the country right now, with a lot of dominating performances. That started with a huge victory over 16 seed Mount St. Mary's, followed up by another big victory over Baylor, 89-66. Then they go to the Sweet 16 and have to play Arizona. Arizona gave them a good one, and they won that one 100-93. And then in the Elite 8 game against Alabama just showed that they do live and die by that three-pointer. They obviously lived by it in the previous game against BYU.
But too many points in that game.
You could have saved some for the Duke game, but yeah, I think Sears was cold in that that game for most of it. Started doing a little bit better in the second half, but Duke's just so strong on both sides of the floor, and obviously offensively they can score with anybody, and defensively they're just a tough task to handle. So I think Houston's got a big challenge for them there in that Final Four game. I believe that's the second Final Four.
Hey, Duke's got a challenge too, though. That Houston defense is serious. It's a lot more serious than what Alabama brought to the table. And, living and dying by the three. You brought up Mark Sears, who had 34 points in the game against BYU in the Sweet 16, and he was on fire, 10 three-pointers, and the opposite was going on Saturday evening against Duke, where it was more just throwing him up there, and then it got to the point where it was almost like he was cold checking. Yeah. And heat check is when you've hit like a couple of shots, and then it's just like, I'm gonna pull up from wherever just to see how hot I actually am. It was like he was missing so many shots. He's throwing them up. He was trying to find it, but I was like, this is a cold check, man. Get the ball up to your teammates. It's not like there's not any other viable options to score. Yeah. Come on, but hey, it's and especially when in the back of your mind this is the last time you're playing college basketball, I can't blame them at all. Yeah. It's just one of those when you're also watching as a fan, you're like, share the ball.
That's right. 8 of 32 from behind the arc for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Duke only shot 13, and they were 6 of 13. And then rebounding was the other big story in that game. Alabama got out-rebounded 41-30 in that one. A lot of second-chance points, a lot of defensive rebounds was 34-20 Duke to Alabama there. So the three-pointers and the glass certainly were the tough 2 points there for the Crimson Tide. But another fantastic run, another fantastic season. Obviously, Nate Oates is doing wonderful things over there in Tuscaloosa, and 2 consecutive Elite Eight appearances for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, obviously, they didn't make the Final Four this year, but a Final Four and an Elite Eight in back-to-back seasons with how difficult the landscape is of recruiting an NIL and transfer portal this day and age is pretty darn impressive. So nothing to be ashamed of. Another great season there on the hardwood for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now getting to the other SEC team that is still alive, heading to the Final Four for an all-SEC matchup there. The Florida Gators just looking fantastic. Won their first game against Norfolk State 95-69. Had a tough second-round matchup against the UConn Huskies, who tried to come back and win that game, but Florida held on 77-75. Cruised through Maryland 87-71. Now the final score of the Florida-Texas Tech game, they won by 5, 84-79. But if you watch that game, there was a little bit more of a story in that one. Florida led by 3 points at halftime, but then Todd Golden's team struggled with turnovers and faced a 75-66 deficit with just under 3 minutes remaining in the second half. All the Texas Tech fans were going nuts. They were excited. And then the Gators quickly responded with a 9-0 run to tie the game. Watching that live was pretty wild and pretty impressive. Just an unbelievable comeback. And then, unfortunately, if Texas Tech could have just done some of those fundamental things there, David Hayes, they might have won this game.
Call them free throws for a reason, brother.
Free throws indeed. And fundamentals. You practice free throws because how many games come down to free throws? More so putting them away than winning or losing.
Well, I mean, in college basketball, though, it's even more so because, after the 5th foul, now you're at the line every time for one-on-one when you're in the bonus. Then you get in the bonus plus whenever they're at the 10th foul. Yep. So not only are you able to kind of score points, say you're down, significantly late in the game, but you're in the bonus, well, now you're stopping the clock and able to kind of put up some more points along the way. So it's absolutely huge. There's a reason why, and high school basketball for us, it was like you had to make a certain amount of free throws before you were even done with practice, outside of your mom walking in the gym and saying, all right, listen, hey,
let's go.
He's just not as good as this as you think he is, Coach.
I like that. Oh, let's see. But, what a comeback by Florida. Not surprising because Florida's just kind of been doing that all season. They've come back from a lot of deficits and just a tough team. Obviously, Todd Golden is doing some wonderful things for the Florida Gators. He entered last week with 0 NCAA tournament wins and is now headed to the Final Four. And the Gators are back in the Final Four for the first time since Billy Donovan was running things in Gainesville. And, of course, Walter Clayton and Thomas Haw are doing a fantastic job job there for the Gators. Big part of this run. I think that side of the bracket is going to be a really good game, and obviously, Florida.
Is this the third time that Florida and Auburn will be playing?
They only played once in the regular season, and Florida came to Neville Arena and beat Auburn at home. So they can kind of leverage that they've went in there and done it before. Now, obviously, this is in San Antonio and kind of a neutral site. But and then last but not least, the Houston Cougars, their road to the Final Four started with a game against our favorites, the SIUE, the Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. I don't even know what their mascot is, but they lost 78-40 against the Cougars. Then Gonzaga tried to come back in the second round game, and Houston stayed steady, won that one 81-76. And as we already talked about, that Houston-Purdue matchup was a close and a fantastic game. Houston getting the dub late in that one, and they advanced to the Elite Eight to take on Tennessee. And just Tennessee had no answer for Houston's defense. I don't know what was going on. They didn't make a lot of adjustments, and Houston just shut them down and won that game by 19 points to earn them a trip to the Final Four to take on Duke and Houston. So,
I believe SIUE was the Cougars.
Ooh.
Without looking it up, so.
Multiple Cougars were in the tournament.
Yeah, BYU, Houston.
Probably just those two.
Plenty of
there's plenty in the crowd.
Plenty in the fans.
Sure.
I was about to say plenty in the stands.
Absolutely. Let's see. I think it's Auburn and Florida first this Saturday coming up, right? And then Duke and Houston follows that one.
I haven't. That's what I need to be working on here in a little bit is what the clock's going to be looking like. But yeah,
5:09 on Saturday is Auburn and Florida, and that'll be followed up by the second game, Duke and Houston. Obviously, 20-30 minutes after that first game ends. Right now, they're kind of predicting a 7:49 Central Time
That'll
zone.
probably be closer to about 8:05.
Yeah, it always the game, especially when you get down to the Final Four, it starts getting a little bit longer, a little bit tougher. The competition, the games get better. I mean, and that's what everybody's. There's no Cinderellas this year, yada. But we also had some really good Elite Eight games as well. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we'll dive into our afternoon delight debriefs from the last several days, and of course, we got Alan Watson coming up at 12:20. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
He touched my hair. He hits my hair.
I'm a basketball Jones. Ever since I was a little baby, I always be dribbling. In fact, I was the baddest dribbler in the whole neighborhood.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Monday. A chance of thunderstorms and light rain this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze around 11 miles per hour out of the south-southwest and temps near 73. Tonight we will have a variety of mostly clouds and a possibility of thunderstorms and be quite warm at 67. Lightly sprinkling tomorrow and a high 77. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
TK Vandy Roofing and General Contracting is a fifth-generation contracting company based right here out of Bay County. TK Vandy's expertise in commercial and residential roofing, as well as a design-build general contractor, set them aside as a versatile and fresh alternative to achieve your construction needs. Contact TK Vandy Roofing, 850-866-9908, or email support@tkvandy.com. They can't wait to help you.
Powered by Panama City Toyota. Your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Want to experience the ultimate car wash? At Tommy's Express, you'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading, flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Try us for free. Text WASH 415 to 86697 to send our best wash, The Works, directly to your phone. You'll love the sudsy clean ceramic wax.
Service in Tallahassee has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Geneva County in southeastern Alabama, southeastern Houston County in southeastern Alabama, western Jackson County in Florida, Bay County in Florida, northwestern Calhoun County in Florida, Walton County in Florida, Holmes County in Florida, Washington County in Florida, until 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 11:58 a.m. Central Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Geneva to 21 miles south of Destin, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts. Source, radar indicated. Impact, expects damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Oakwood Hills, Hill Park, Eglin Air Force Base, Whitehead Crossroads, Bradford, Cerro Gordo, Golf Resort Beach, Black, Brittany, West Panama City, Rock Hill, Glendale, Miller's Ferry, Noma, Pleasant Ridge, Knox Hill, Isagora, New Harmony, Piney Grove, and 4 Mile Village. Remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once into the basement or small central room in a sturdy structure. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following counties in Florida: Bay, Calhoun, Holmes, Walton, and Washington.
Streaming service, whatever we're going to call it nowadays, is a lot more than that, especially the fact that they keep raising prices over and over and over again. But again, that is Scorpion TV right there at ESPNPC.com. If you want to take us wherever you go with your cell phone, you can download our free mobile app. That is ESPN Northwest Florida's free mobile app. You can find it in the Google Play or Apple Store. All you got to do is search 104.3 in your search engine or your search bar there in the app stores, and you will be able to find it. Also want to give a big shout out to our studio sponsor. That's Alan Watson, who will be joining us in the next segment. He's got 2 great golf shop locations that specialize in club fitting, club repair, and of course retail sales as well, right here in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza right next to Firefly, and then of course up there off Montgomery Highway, which is 231 as well, right there in the heart of Dothan, inside the circle. So if you're looking for a golf shop to get some club fitting done, maybe you need some new grips, it's basically golf season at this point. We are a week away from the start of Masters Week, so if you're looking to get going, you got to have some new grips and make sure all your clubs are fit for you. And then, of course, you know, make sure you go patronize those wonderful establishments. And you can even play some indoor golf. This afternoon would be perfect for it. I just got a notification. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're looking to play golf, obviously it's not going to be outside. You can head over to Golf Plus and sign up for a little simulator time. And sometimes that's even more fun. You know, TGL's taking off now, so go visit Alan and his great...
Is it really, though?
I don't know.
More fun?
The finish was pretty cool. Oh,
no,
more fun?
No, I'm saying simulator golf compared to real golf.
I was just trying to get people to go play in the simulator.
I mean, you know, it's a cool idea and everything. And I think for some people, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely more fun. For me, I just, you know, it's kind of like saying that like playing a video game is actually more fun than playing the sport, you know?
Some.
Nah. Okay, yeah, like Grand Theft Auto. A lot more fun to play the video game than it is to do it in real life.
You get a little more freedom when you play the video game, too, than in the real life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you get the stars, you die, you're right back.
Yeah.
You know?
Even,
like, sports game, my whole life, like, growing up and stuff, it was like, the video game is to just... to kind of
keep the interest in the sport.
Well, not even just that. It's all right. We've played as much as we can. We're not even allowed outside anymore because the street lights are on. So you know, like this is my only other option to be able to play. Now that I'm older, it's a lot easier on the body to play the video games than it is.
If that ain't the truth, I don't know what is. But that made me think of playing basketball in the driveway for like 8 hours, and everybody coming in and playing. Before there was online college football, you'd have to sit next to each other at the same TV and play each other on the same TV. You're not looking at my plays, are you?
Also much better, though, than... I mean, playing online is fun. Like, I would rather play online than play against the computer.
Yes.
Because you're, you're playing against something, and it's not just the same over and over again. But I'd rather play right next to my buddy talking crap. In fact, I was over at I watched the Duke Alabama game over at my buddy Dalton's house, and right after that game ended, we played a best of 3 of Madden. I beat him in the first game, then he got me back in the next 2. It was a tough Saturday evening.
Man. taking L's all over the place.
Oh, no, I got a dub. I started off with a dub.
but you
then,
lost the series.
Yeah, I did lose the series.
But you got one.
Yeah.
That's
close games, though.
Hey,
close games.
That's good. That's good. All right, again, Golf Plus, club fitting, retail, and repair. Go check them out. Again, we'll have Alan joining us here at the end of this segment to talk about what's going on there in his stores. And I'm going to ask him, maybe some Masters Week stories that he may have, because I'm looking forward to Masters Week getting going next week as well. Of course, we also have the Augusta National Women's Amateur that gets underway, I believe, this Wednesday and Thursday at Champions Retreat, with the final round being on Saturday at Augusta National, which is, I believe, Amy Bond has got 2 players from FSU's women's golf team competing in this year, with Lottie Woad, who's the defending champion, and then, of course, Mirabelle Ting, who has overtaken Lottie for the #1 amateur in the world. So FSU women's and men's golf is extremely good right now, and lucky to have Coach Bond and Coach Jones come on the show with us every once in a while. Obviously, if one of those girls wins, we'll try to get them on the show like we had Lottie on the show last year. Obviously, she didn't elaborate a whole lot on the questions, but, that's okay. That's okay. We'll get her to, if she wins again, maybe she can defend her championship, which would be pretty darn impressive. All right, I'm going to start with some Afternoon Delight debriefs. This one's kind of a little fun fact, Afternoon Delight debrief. Crocodiles do shed tears, but not out of emotion or remorse. Scientists have found that crocodile tears are a biological response triggered by feeding or spending time on dry land. The act of eating, especially aggressive jaw movements, forces air into their sinuses, stimulating tear glands to release fluid. These tears help lubricate their eyes and maintain their health, rather than expressing sadness or guilt. I'll be honest, I never thought they were actually sad. So the phrase...
I think we've done this one before back in the J Day.
Ah, the J Day. Did he bring this one to the table?
I don't know if it was that or we just brought up crocodile tears, and so it was just a Google away.
Well, it's funny you say crocodile tears. They emerged from the ancient myths suggesting crocodiles cried to deceive their prey, but modern research has debunked this notion. Interestingly, similar phenomena exist in humans with a rare condition called Beauregard syndrome, where individuals shed tears while eating due to nerve damage. But the reason why the expression crocodile shed tears is used for people who do not feel sorry for something they pretend to be sad. So crocodile tears, he shed crocodile tears, he's just pretending to be sad for whatever they did.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah, I do remember talking about that at some point with old Mr. Henley there. All right, let's see. I've got, this is kind of a fun, good story, a feel-good story. It was from the United Baseball Parents of America post.
Oh, good. That'll be a great segue for your next rant.
Yeah. No. This is a good one, though. His name was Ryan Gusto. He got cut 3 out of the 4 years in high school, but no one expected what happened next. I was just kind of like, all right, well, that stings, but I'm not going to stop playing baseball. So he researched JUCO programs in Florida and started emailing coaches. Most didn't respond. And then those who told him he didn't throw hard enough to, and most told him he didn't throw hard enough to play for them. One day, Ryan came across a particular coach whose bio struck a chord. Then Broward College head coach Ben Bizier. I emailed the coach way too many times, he said, bugged him, and he would later tell me I just pushed my way in. Finally, Bizier caved and told Ryan he could fly down for a showcase. Out of the 60 kids, Ryan did not stick out all that much, but the coach saw enough to offer Gusto an opportunity to walk on at Broward. Ryan accepted the spot. Whoa, okay. No talking to his family, just an instant yes. This was actually concerning, Bizier wrote. Who on earth is this guy? Ryan came clean and told Bizier he's gotten cut from his varsity team, and in the same breath, he said he wanted to come to Florida to help Broward win a championship. No lie, he said that, Bizier recalled. In the fall, Ryan stepped on campus throwing 84 as a college freshman. While physical reality was average, Gusto carried himself with an almost irrational confidence. This Gusto kid throws 80 poo, but swears no one can touch his SHIT. Broward's team captain said at the time. But Ryan turned it out, kept his head down, and got to work. After barely making the roster of the 12th out of 12 pitchers, Gusto worked his way into a bullpen role. Then next season followed his coach to Florida Southwestern. With 110 strikeouts through 75 innings, a 2.88 ERA, he led Florida Southwestern to a conference championship. He earned Suncoast Conference Pitcher of the Year honors. I went from finishing my freshman year, I was like, cool, I can play baseball now, to like, holy, I might get drafted. In June of 2019, Gusto was drafted in the 11th round of the MLB draft by the Houston Astros. They called him up to the majors in the final game of 2024, but it got rained out. This season, Ryan hopes to finally make his MLB debut. Kind of a
going for the Gusto.
Nice. How long were you sitting on that one?
As soon as you brought up his name.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't even got to listen to the rest of this story, man. I'm just going for the Gusto. That's pretty cool stuff, though, right there.
I guess sometimes the moral of the story is if you've at least got the work ethic and the drive, you can still make it.
Yeah,
you can still make it.
And I mean, you got to have the work ethic and the drive. It's just, never. There's so many people doing what it is that you want to do, so don't let that discourage you. Always keep going for it. But hey, if you don't make it, just whatever level of sports you make it to after college, just know that that's not the norm or whatever. You worked your tail off and you deserved it to get there.
Absolutely. Just playing for your varsity team at your high school is usually a pretty good thing, let alone trying to make it to the next level. But yeah, I just thought that was a cool, story of perseverance and not giving up and bothering somebody enough to be like, all right, come on, stop bothering me, fly down, we'll see how you can do. And he ended up making a spot and then kept getting better and better and better.
Hey, there you go, man. And when you do get that opportunity, make the most of it, right?
Absolutely. That's one thing, these young kids, sometimes they get down on themselves, but you just never know who's watching and who's seeing that, and how you carry yourself is almost more important than how good you actually are. Obviously, being good is a huge part of that as well. But yeah, so cool story there. All right, let's talk about some odd news stuff. Sticking with the animal stuff, the crocodile action. Freshwater crocodile found far from home in Australia. This is from today. A pair of Queensland, Australia men were left scratching their heads when they came across a freshwater crocodile several miles from the alligator's nearest natural habitat. Zane Hemming spotted the crocodile on a street in Mudgeeraba, a Gold Coast suburb, and alerted his friend. Lachlan Sainsbury, who initially thought the other man was looking at a lizard and was simply confused. These names are wild down there in Australia. The men captured the out-of-place reptile and alerted the Department of Environment, Tourism, Science, and Innovation. Woo, that department's got a lot wrapped into it. Freshwater crocodiles are native to Queensland, but their natural habitat is in rural areas in central, western, and northwest Queensland, a department spokesperson told 7 News. The Gold Coast is not considered to be a freshwater crocodile habitat. The department said the 2-month-old crocodile was likely an escaped pet or an animal illegally relocated from its habitat in the wild. Spokesperson said the croc will likely end up with a new home at a zoo or rescue farm. Poor guy, he's probably hanging out in a terrarium and got loose and said, I just want to go back home.
It could be worse. Could be at Gulf World.
They might take care of their alligators a little better.
Hey,
or their crocodiles.
There you go.
That's Zoo World, though. Zoo World does a fantastic job. All right, let's find another one.
Did you go to the peaceful No, you had you were
with
playing
Marlins.
Football.
Yeah, we were.
So you were out there in the sea, fishing or swimming rather, not fishing, swimming.
Hopefully not fishing for ourselves. But, oh goodness! All right, here's another animal one. Imagine that. It seems the more crazy stuff is always related to animals and the wonderful country of Australia. This title of this particular article is Snake Handler Rescues Pet Bird from Hungry Python. My first question to that is, why do you have your pet bird so close to your hungry python? I don't know the answer to that.
Seems like those things go hand in hand, or bird and stomach, if you will.
There you go. There you go. No shoulders, no hands, no fingers, but a big old jaw that can detach itself to eat larger prey. A professional snake catcher in Australia was called out to a home where a pet bird had a close call with a coastal carpet python that squeezed its head into the avian's cage. Stuart McKenzie of the Suncoast Sunshine Coast Snake Catchers 24/7 posted a video on social media showing the scene that unfolded at a Queensland home where a hungry coastal carpet python set its eyes on a caged pet bird. Thankfully, we got here in time, Mackenzie says in the video. When I arrived here just then, the bird and the snake were literally touching noses between the bars of the enclosure. Unfortunately, many bird and other small animal cages are still sold regardless of whether they are snake-proof or not, he wrote in the post. In our industry, it's hard seeing so many families lose their pets because of this. Mackenzie wrote that the snake can't be blamed for seeing the bird as a meal. It cannot differentiate wild birds to pet birds. It's simply trying to feed itself. We're just lucky for the bird's sake we came quick enough, he wrote. And this isn't a pet snake. This is a wild snake that got into the house and tried to eat the pet bird. So, Australia, the land of many wild animals that can pose a pretty good threat to your domesticated ones. But yeah, the video is pretty wild. It's got the python on top of the cage, just sticking its head in there, and the bird's like right there up against it, probably terrified.
Yeah, I would imagine. A slight what? I can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
boss, help me out here.
I'm in a cage. Somebody help me out. Somebody help me out. Should we stick with animals or should we go somewhere different? Because there's a lot of animals.
Don't you have a rant? Or are you saving that for?
Yeah. No, I forgot about my rant. My rant is I posted it on Facebook too. So if somebody's friends with me on Facebook, they probably already saw it. But at this 7-on-7 tournament this weekend, and again, this has nothing to do with coaches. It's parents berating their own kids about performance. Drives me crazy. I went to the bathroom and I was walking back up the sidewalk, and it was probably a 14, 15-year-old kid and his dad was just effing this, effing that. Like, I didn't spend all this effing money to see you effing suck. Like, what do you do? Like, I'm like, what is going? I almost stopped and said something to dad, but I didn't want to get punched in the face, so I just kept walking and kept my business to myself. And that wasn't the only time.
That's a hard thing to mind your business, especially when what you're there for, you know?
Yeah, I mean, gosh. And then I posted that, and I got so many other comments from seeing that. And, let the coaches coach the kids and hold them accountable. Like, if you're not there just to support your kids and you're putting yourself above your kid, don't be involved. I don't know. That was a tough one for me to swallow, to see that and not say anything, just because, obviously, David, we coach because we like to help the kids, and we got a great group of kids on our group, and, we don't really have to worry about a whole lot of not listening and that kind of stuff, which is great. But all the parents too are so supportive of not only the kids but supportive of the team. And I know this is kind of a talking anomalies, but I just had to kind of get that off my chest. I was very disappointed on some of the behavior out there, and your kid one's not, well, some of the divisions, the 16U and the 15U may get some scholarships handed out, but 11, 10, 8. You ain't getting any scholarships handed out that day.
No.
And, if you're trying to live vicariously through your kid, don't take it out on your kid.
Play adult sports, bro.
That's right. There's plenty of adult sports. You can get out there and play. And I joked and said, I'm kind of doing that, but I'm also not berating my kid.
Yeah. I think that's the bit. I mean, there's a difference in being passionate about something and then also just kind of making a fool of yourself, talking down on someone who, I think Mike Howdy put it on Facebook where it might have been on that same very post, or he had a different one where it's like the kid is already feeling bad about it. All you're doing is kind of just instituting that he should feel bad about it, or cementing that thought in his head, whereas that's not reality. I mean, you play baseball, you make an error, your job is to forget that error that you made, not hold on to it. And it's just, what can I do better? What can I do better? And when you're sitting there getting yelled at, it doesn't help. And it really just does. It makes the kid just not want to play the sport anymore.
Yep. And that's the last thing you want to have happen. And and that's a great point. They already know they made the mistake, and just to keep reiterating, I mean, do you think they wanted to make the mistake? No, absolutely not. And I can go back to golf with this, because I've seen so many parents in junior golf tournaments be like, why did you do that? Why'd you do that? Did you think I meant to hit it in the rough? Do you think I meant to 3-putt?
Yeah.
No, I was trying to do good. Like, I don't know. We talk about youth sports obviously a lot on this, but I saw a lot of things that I was just, I don't want to say surprised, but just kind of disappointed at. And
that's worse than being mad. Disappointed.
Right? That was the worst thing you hear. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Well, I think you're right. Disappointed is worse than being mad.
Mm-hmm.
But also another thing I saw, just, parents going after a coach of a team. Like, you want to coach, volunteer your time and get out there and coach. Don't attack coaches during the game.
Yeah.
And don't coach differently than what the coach is trying to do.
Yeah.
I saw an example of that, and it was bad.
But, man, that one's such a tough one, too, because once you have a kid on a team, it is it's the coach's clay, if you will, right? But then what if that coach isn't molding that clay correctly? Like, if you do know a little bit better than the coach, how do you fix that? Because you don't want the coach instituting bad habits into the kid, right?
Yeah.
So now you got to play the line where you're not, when you're at the house and you're working on things, you can't down talk the coach, because now you're going to have your son or your athlete thinking that he knows more than the coach. That's dangerous, because that just, he feeds that or slides that down the line to the rest of the kids. Now you've got a coach coaching who's not necessarily in full control of the youth athletes, which is just absolutely crazy. But also, you don't want to instill or have bad habits instilled into your athlete's life. So it's a touchy line there, but hey,
absolutely,
you got to figure it out, right?
That's it, one day at a time. And hey, if you think you know the best, and you do in fact know the best, coach. It's as simple as that. Get involved. We got to take a quick break. We got to get Alan Watson on the line from Golf Plus to talk a little bit about what's going on down there in the stores, and get his thoughts on the big Masters Week coming up next week. You're listening to The Inside Drive. Alan Watson next.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the Man Cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Monday. The remainder of the day, likely thunderstorms and mostly clouds and 73 with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest around 11 miles per hour. Tonight, a mixture of mostly clouds and a likelihood of thunderstorms with lows around 67. Tomorrow, slightly foggy in the morning followed by some clouds and a temperature near 77. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Golf Plus studios. 4. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley.
This man is destroying golf. You may be right, but our ratings are up, and we're attracting new youthful sponsors.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Gotta get you fired up. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Alan Watson will be calling us here shortly. He's dealing with some customers. But that being said, if you're looking for a job at a great place of employment, either here in Panama City Beach or up there in Dothan, you can give Alan Watson a shout, as he is definitely looking for some help. You don't have to be an expert in club repair or any of that kind of stuff, as he will coach you on how to do all those wonderful things.
I think he is looking for someone that's had prior experience.
Okay, just kidding, just kidding. Well, maybe he can coach you up too. I've had some prior experience in club repair too, but
oh, there you go.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
The host of the Inside Drive is going to be filling in over there at Golf Plus every now and again.
And then I'll just talk to him in person for the interview.
There you go.
But anyway, since we're waiting for Alan, we'll talk a little bit about the PGA Tour event that transpired. Kind of the last big event really before the first major of the season. That was the Texas Children's
I didn't hear nothing
Open.
About this tournament over the weekend.
There wasn't it got kind of close at the end. Minwoo Lee ended up winning it at 20 under par.
Whoops, Scotty's in trouble this year.
Yeah, Scotty was 19 under par, finished tied for second with Gary Woodland. But great to see Gary Woodland up there with a second place finish, all the way up to 49th in the FedEx Cup rankings. Obviously, Gary Woodland had a brain lesion that happened a couple years ago and took him out of golf for a while, had to have brain surgery, have the lesion removed, and then he's been dealing with the seizure medication, which I can relate to that, because the seizure medicine you take actually slows your brain down because it's trying to prevent stuff from happening. So he just couldn't focus as well on the golf course and all that stuff. So great to see Gary Woodland. He finished the weekend 66 and a 62, an 8 under par final round there at the Texas Children's Hospital Houston Open. So cool to see Gary finish near the top. And Minwoo Lee kind of did a funny joking thing at the end. I don't know if you've seen the guys when they're lining up putts, sometimes they'll straddle the putt just to kind of get a feel for what the slope is like. I don't really think it actually works. That's the plumb bobbing. And then there's aim point too, which I still don't understand any of that stuff, because you're standing on a sloped surface.
Yeah.
So how does that correlate? I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried. I've always been okay at reading greens. I don't know. I think it's just something maybe you do with enough reps. But
yeah, mine is just hit the ball and watch it fall.
Yeah, that's it. It's a slogan on a T-shirt. Hit the ball and watch it fall. That should be Jay's new T-shirt slogan. But anyway, so he had like a foot putt to tap in and win the tournament, and he did the whole straddling the ball, and he kind of laughed, and so that was kind of funny. But Minwoo Lee takes the victory and wins $1.710 million with that nice victory there. This week we got coming up is I believe it's the Valero Texas Open, which is not as big of an event. You're not going to see quite as many people. And we talked about this a little bit last week. And I think me and Keith might just do a double dip in Masters this week and next week on the Two Off the Tee podcast. But a lot of guys will be going out to Augusta and getting into town and playing some practice rounds this week. And then because they can't practice on Saturday. And then Sunday they get out there too, but that's when the drive, chip, and putt is going on. And they use the 18th green there in the drive, chip, and putt. So this next upcoming tournament's not going to be probably quite as well attended by the top players in the world. You never know, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case. So update on the FedEx Cup standings. Although he's only played in 5 events, but he's got 2 wins and 3 top 10s. Not bad for Mr. Rory McIlroy, number 2 in the world right now. He's played in 5 events. He's been in the top 10 of all 5 of those events, and one of those tour wins obviously was the Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass. Sepp Straka has played in 10 events. He's had 3 top 10s and 1 win. He is second in the FedEx Cup list, followed by Russell Henley, Colin Morikawa, JJ Spawn, Ludwig Aubert, Corey Connors, Hideki Matsuyama, Justin Thomas, despite collapsing last week in the tournament, still inside the top 10 of the FedEx Cup rankings. And then, like David said, Scotty Scheffler is 10th right now in the FedEx Cup standings, which is a little disappointing there from the Texas man.
What's going on with you, Scotty? Come on, tighten up.
Right? Win, baby, win. That's twice we've said that in the show today.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Al Davis reference.
I just might be 3 times.
When I say it one more, it'll definitely be 3, maybe 4. I don't know. I don't know if Alan's going to call us or not. But Braves call up 41-year-old pitcher Jesse Chavez from the minors and DFA Hector Neris.
Yep, Hector Neris is gone. Jesse Chavez joins the club for, I believe, the 6th time. That's just a love relationship between Braves fans and Jesse Chavez. He can't get it done anywhere else, it feels like. But when he comes home back to Atlanta, the same situation last year, and finds himself a part of the bullpen. So we'll see how it plays out. It's kind of a feel-good story, but that bullpen is, they're going to have to rectify things, but the offense has got to get it going for us to see any type of spark or to even blame the bullpen. The offense is going to have to get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully that will be the case. Obviously, I know we talked about the Alex Ovechkin stuff. I want to give us a quick update on the NHL standings, as for those who care. I know, David, you're a big Tampa Bay Lightning fan. I'm a big New Jersey Devils fan, and obviously watching this chase to break Gretzky's record as well. But over there on the Eastern Conference side of things, you got the Atlantic Division, the Metropolitan Division. You got the Leafs, the Lightning, and the Panthers all within 3 points of one another. Again, the top 3 teams from each division make the playoffs, and then there's 2 wild card spots as well. In the Metropolitan Division, the Devils have been sliding a little bit. Washington Capitals way out in front on the Eastern Conference with 103 points, and they have lost their last 2, but in their last 10 are 6-3-1. Carolina Hurricanes getting hot just in time for the playoffs. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and the Devils are 3rd in the Metropolitan Division at 85 points. So 103, 94, and 85. The Devils are 5-4-1 in their last 10. And then you've got several teams competing for those 2 last wild card spots. The Ottawa Senators got a 7-point lead over the Montreal Canadiens, and the New York Rangers also have 77 points, but right now the Canadiens would hold the tiebreaker and would get that final 8th spot. Over there on the Western Conference side of things, what will end up likely being the President's Trophy winner. David, what's the President's Trophy for?
President's Trophy, the best record.
Yep. Most points, best record in the NHL right now. That would belong to the Winnipeg Jets of all teams. Winnipeg's got 106
How about that,
points.
man?
I know, I love it.
Connor Hellebuyck, huh?
That's it. The old Winnipeg Jets. Good to see them still rocking and rolling. I think Alan's not going to make it, David, so he just texted me. But anyway, Winnipeg's got 106. Dallas has got 100. Colorado Avalanche have 93. And then the Pacific Division, you got the Vegas Knights, who, since they've been in the league, they've been there every year. Impressive what these expansion teams can do. The Los Angeles Kings with 91, and then the Edmonton Oilers with 89. The Wild and the Blues have a 6-point lead over the 3rd place in the wild card ranking, Vancouver Canucks. They both have 87 points. The Blues have been playing some inspired hockey the last couple weeks at a 9-1 record in their last 10 and have won 9 straight games there. The Blues, I think they won, the Stanley Cup 2 or 3 years ago, something like that.
No, it's been a while.
It's been a while now.
Well, I guess I want to say 2019 because Pat Maroon won 3 cups in a row. 2 of those were the Bolts, and he was with the Blues before that, so 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Good stuff. Look at you with your Stanley Cup trophy, and it seems like it was tied to the Tampa Bay Lightning stuff a little bit there.
That's normally, but see, my teams have been on such a run that it kind of helps out, not just in hockey, but really across the board in sports. It kind of helps me remember who's won certain championships.
Absolutely.
But then, as always, there's so many things going on that I get a little discombobulated every now and again.
But not very often. Not very often. Nobody has been eliminated in the Eastern Conference yet. The Washington Capitals have officially clinched. A little different story there on the Western Conference side. You got the Jets and the Stars, who have both clinched, and then the Kraken, the Predators, the Blackhawks, and the Sharks have all been eliminated from playoff contention. The poor Sharks with just 49 points, bottom team there in the Western
Yeah,
Conference.
they were playing the Kings last night after the Final Four wrapped up. Oh, no. I was watching Sunday Night Baseball after that wrapped up. Then they went over there to the Sharks and the Kings, and Kopitar was having himself a heck of a night last night.
Anze, right? Anze Kopitar?
If it's not Anze, it's Alexi, but I think Anze sounds right.
I think it's Anze. But anyway, since we're talking about hockey and nobody really cares, I'm going to talk about college hockey as well.
Hey, there you go. How about them Nittany Lions?
How about them Nittany Lions making their first ever NCAA Frozen Four appearance? And they did it in dramatic fashion. I don't know if you saw that highlight or not, but Penn State came down the left side of the ice. No idea who it was, but made a nice behind-the-back pass to the slot, and the guy buried it and ripped it to beat UConn in overtime. So your Frozen Four will be Penn State and BU, and then Denver and Western Michigan. So
wow, that's a wide variety of Frozen Four. Yeah, Boston is a team that you kind of expect there, but not.
Denver's been a staple for the last several years as well. I think they've won a national championship, at least in the last 5 years. Because they're a really good hockey program, and you don't ever hear of them because that's really the only sport that they're nationally recognized in. But anyway, that Frozen Four, if you're somewhat of a hockey fan, watching these college hockey Frozen Four games is a lot of fun because it is passionate. It's just like any college, sport in the playoffs. They're going as hard as they possibly can, and it is exciting, and it is physical, and certainly a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, Penn State won in overtime, 3-2 over UConn. Denver beat the number 1 seed 3-1. They beat Boston College, the Eagles, who are also always there with BU as well, and they have that big Beanpot matchup up there as well. And then, like I said, Boston came out of the other region. They beat Ohio State 8-3. Take that, Buckeyes. And then BU beat Cornell 3-2. Western Michigan had beat Massachusetts in their in their quarterfinal game. And again, they will take on Denver in the Frozen Four. I believe that's aired on national TV. Don't quote me on that. I forget which channel, but I would if you're somewhat of a hockey fan, go out and watch that Frozen Four.
Yeah.
It is good stuff. I've always encouraged people to watch hockey because I think it's just the best. Live, especially, is a lot of fun to watch. But these games on TV too are a good time. The women's hockey too is pretty intense. I think Wisconsin's won a lot of national championships in the last few years. And speaking of women's sports, let's jump over to the the NCAA. They're looking to the other 2 Elite Eight games are tonight.
Yeah, they'll wrap up their Elite Eight this evening.
They'll have their Final Four lined up after tonight. But yeah, so some pretty cool stuff there. Let me see.
My bracket over there is looking pretty daggum good.
Oh, that reminds me. As soon as I talk about this, I'll talk about our update in the group and see where everybody stands, see who's leading.
Top 2,000
Top 2,000?
Women's bracket.
Wow. Top 2,000?
99.9%, baby.
Shoo, that's impressive. That is impressive. Let me see here.
I had, who was it? UCLA and LSU? They were playing last night?
UCLA and LSU.
I had UCLA to beat LSU. And
nice little revenge there for the Bruins. And what's wild, I had never known that UCLA had never made it to the Final Four on the women's side.
I didn't know that either, so you just said that. So.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
They've had themselves a heck of a year. They beat USC in the Big Ten. Still sounds so wild saying that. They beat USC in the Big Ten championship game. And, it really still stinks thinking about Juju Watkins going down. They've had a heck of a run, man.
Absolutely, and everyone kind of expected UCLA to be in the Final Four, but their tough win over LSU and Kim Mulkey, I believe yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, was a historic win, and it's still hard to believe it's their first Final Four in program history, and UCLA obviously filled with a lot of basketball lore. The women's team finally has a chapter of their own to add to the UCLA basketball excitement. And then the games coming up.
You got Texas.
Right on cue.
Texas and TCU. I'm looking at my bracket right now because I had the whole entire Elite Eight correct. So I've got Texas over TCU. They start at 6 p.m. tonight.
And didn't Haley Van Lith have some kind of record points the other night?
I don't know if it was a record or anything like that.
Paige had, 40 last night? Or I think 40, something like that. I shouldn't talk like I know.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't. Not like anyway.
I don't know, man. That's what's so
99.9.
It doesn't matter. Every year, my women's bracket is so much better than my men's bracket, and I'll tell you how much women's basketball I watch. Yeah, it's not and that's just kind of it's kind of the same thing like with in the bracket challenges. It's like the people who you can have a lot of luck, not luck. I don't want to call it. It's just it is what it is.
You don't overthink it because you're not thinking that you know what you're talking about. You're just I'm gonna pick that team. That team's higher ranked. I mean, if you pick number 1 seeds all the way through in men's, you'd be looking pretty good.
USC and UConn is the second game tonight. I've got UConn beating USC, but that was even before Juju Walker went down, obviously. But how wild would it be? Let's say USC finds a way to get it done tonight, and Texas finds a way to get it done tonight. Has there ever been a tournament where all 4 number 1? Because there's only one opportunity, right? 2008.
Yep.
So this could be the only time that all 4 number 1 seeds make it in both tournaments.
Yeah, that's true. Because I highly doubt in 2008 that all 4 happened in women.
The women's tournament is normally chalky, so that's another thing that kind of helps your bracket. You don't got to call a lot of upsets.
Yep, absolutely. And men's bracket kind of followed suit this year as well. Jumping over to the ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge, Afros and Elbows still leading and leading handedly with 1120 in their total points. Just ahead of Gator Jamie by 30 points. Gator Jamie's got 1,090, as well as Jerry DINPC. I was trying to pronounce that as there's 2 words, but I don't know.
Jerry D NPC.
Jerry D NPC. I like that. That rolls off the tongue. You would know that. You're the rapper of the group. He's got 1,090, and then ATM McCord, the gentleman from up there in North Alabama, 1,090 as well. Danny Griffin is right there in 5th place with 1,080, and Schomper 78 at 80 as well. Number 1 and 2, Afros and Elbows has Florida. Gator Jamie has Florida. Jerry D and PC's got Auburn. ATM McCord's got Florida. Danny Griffin's got Duke. Schomper 78 has Florida, and then it goes on from there. But sounds like if Duke goes on to win the national championship, old Danny Griffin might have an opportunity there to sneak into first place. Remember, top 3 have opportunities to win cash and prizes. We appreciate Panama City Toyota, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, and PCB Hobby for making the Big Bracket Challenge happen and come to fruition here next Monday. Our game's coming up this Saturday. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back with our final segment of this Monday. Stay weather aware out there as that stuff is coming, and it is coming quick. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straightaway center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
Broadcasting from the Golf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. 4. Don't mind me. I'm just playing through. Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local, ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. Listen to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN.
It sounds kind of like that Bruno Mars song.
It does. Up all night to get lucky. It does. It does. Yeah, I don't know the words. I don't know the words of any song, really. But anyway, make sure you're staying weather aware out there. It actually looks like, according to the radar, it should be raining right now. Can't tell if you can hear that or see that through the little black curtain there. And it doesn't really look like it is. So apparently it hasn't gotten to the studio yet. But again, I'm thinking probably a lot of these outdoor sporting activities later on today might be postponed, but don't listen to that from me. Pay attention to your Bay District schools for all that particular information. But yeah, let's talk about some of the local sports real quick, and then we'll talk about some NFL updates here in a second. Supposed to have, we'll go back to Saturday and recap some of those. In softball, it looks like Arnold was playing in a tournament. They took on Westminster Academy, and they won that one 7-4, improving to 11-3 on the season. And then they took on Fort Myers and lost that one 6-3. Varsity baseball, South Walton got another victory against Lincoln out of the Tallahassee area, 11-5. South Walton improves to 15-3 on the season. And let's see where they're currently ranked in the state. Right now ranked number 5 in the state of Florida and number 2 in Florida 3A. So South Walton obviously having a fantastic baseball season. If these do happen, North Bay Haven was going to be traveling to take on Florida State University High School. I'm guessing that game probably is still going to happen because it's far enough east that I don't think the weather will get there until a little bit later on. But again, I'm not in charge of delaying or scheduling these games. And then you've got Bozeman taking on Beechwood at home in varsity softball. North Bay Haven is 12-3 right now on the season. Let's see if I can find out. I'm learning how to navigate this app a little bit better. They're currently ranked number 3 in all of Florida 2A and number 24 in the entire state of Florida. So kudos to the North Bay Haven girls softball team there as they're having a great season and doing pretty well. Hopefully make a nice little playoff run there. Talking about some of the NFL news that is going on, Mike Tomlin says Rodgers isn't facing a deadline from the Steelers to make a decision. Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin revealed that the team hasn't given Aaron a deadline to make a decision in free agency. Not to my knowledge, Tomlin said on Sunday per Mike DeFabo of The Athletic. I don't know that we've approached it from a deadline perspective. Certainly, as I mentioned, you'd like to have settled circumstances, but deadlines don't often bring that. When asked about the uncertainty surrounding the quarterback position hindering the rest of the team, the 53-year-old called the training camp a line of demarcation. Tomlin said Rodgers' visit with the Steelers was a really good day. So we'll see if Aaron Rodgers, and we know Aaron's going to drag this thing out. It's kind of his MO and kind of like he wants to do. He wants to keep himself in the top of the news and the headlines, all that stuff. I think he was in Egypt or something like that. I don't know.
Was he?
Yeah, something like that. And maybe he's the one that discovered all those hidden tunnels under the pyramids. I don't know if you saw that or not, but that was pretty wild. Apparently there was an entire
tunnel system,
but almost like little dwellings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what they base the ones over there in LA off of.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's okay.
Oh, hashtag no Diddy. But anyway, another NFL insider predicts the Steelers may eye Kirk Cousins if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign a contract.
I wonder who would be more expensive. Obviously, we know the number that comes attached
because
to Kirk Cousins. But what kind of capital, draft capital, trade capital would that take for the Steelers? Would it be cheaper to get Aaron Rodgers? Is Aaron Rodgers trying to wait until after the draft to see what the Steelers are going to do? Chef Ross had brought up that point. I'm like, maybe he could, but at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is either going to play at 2 more places for 1 year or he's going to play at 1 place for 2 more years. We don't really know how much he has left in the tank, and seeing him outside of the Jets, you go from the debacle that is the Jets franchise to a franchise who's known for championships with a head coach who doesn't miss the playoffs, or at the very least his team doesn't finish under 500. I mean, will we see a better version of Aaron Rodgers, or at least a better team surrounding Aaron Rodgers? It's hard to say that the wide receiving core is going to be better, that DK Metcalf and Pickens together are better than what Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, and some of the other pieces that they had over there at the Jets. You can make the argument about it. I just think playing under Tomlin is going to be better than playing under Salah. But Tomlin ain't going to give Aaron Rodgers the leeway that he's got in other places, I don't think. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be able to deal with that?
Yeah, good question, because he's obviously been, reportedly trying to make a lot of decisions behind the scenes. I know he's been likened to potentially making a move over there to the Vikings as well, but kind of like you said, is that an actual real thing?
Well,
is
the
it
Vikings
1 year?
Said that they're not interested at all unless they've reversed course since I've heard, but they could, be putting blinders up to everyone. I still think that would be so...
to follow the same path as far.
Goodness, it would. Just the storylines that would follow throughout that for the rest of the year. Do a year.
There you go. Oh goodness, but yeah, just
bring Brett Favre on to be quarterback's coach.
There you go. The gunslinger himself. But so every offseason we seem to be having a Rodgers kind of saga debacle, and it was kind of Brady there for the last couple of years, retiring, unretiring, and then going to a different team.
Yeah, Brady didn't make us wait as long though. We would get the news, and then it would be, he's retiring, and then yeah.
But anyway, talking about this Kirk Cousins thing, so according to Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com, the Steelers will likely be interested in Cousins if Rodgers doesn't sign with them. They really need to figure out a quarterback situation because they've got Mason Rudolph and somebody else, some other rookie-ish quarterback.
Yeah, they got Mason Rudolph back. I don't know who else they have.
Steelers, QB,
I don't know, but I will say, Kirk Cousins is a guy that he's just easy to root for, and then after
Skylar Thompson, okay.
Not
a rookie-ish, but
yeah,
hey.
he was over there in Miami, so what you're getting out of that.
Yeah,
he got some reps.
Yeah, they weren't the pretty reps, but he got some.
If that's how we're describing you as a quarterback, you got some reps.
Sorry, right. Skylar. Who am I to judge you playing in the NFL? The NFL, I'm not. But anyway, they will likely be interested in Cousins if he doesn't sign with them. Adam Scheffler previously reported that Rodgers is weighing the possibility of taking the 2025 season off, despite meeting with Pittsburgh on March 21st. As for Cousins, he's still under contract with Atlanta after signing a 4-year deal worth $180 million to join the Falcons during the 2024 season. He started 14 games for the team to open up his 2024 campaign before he was benched in favor of Michael Penix Jr., owning a record of just 7-7 as a starter. But the reason he got benched was for throwing those 16 interceptions. It'd be interesting to see. It's obviously murky, his future with Penix expected to enter the 2025 season atop the depth chart, but their front office may not be actively looking to trade him yet. If Atlanta trades the veteran after June 1st, it would carry a dead cap hit of just $12.5 million in 2025, as compared to a $37.5 million dead cap hit if he is dealt before.
Ain't no way I'm trading him before then. No way.
Especially with, how many times have we seen the mentor young quarterback relationship work out good? And obviously Kirk Cousins is that type of a dude. Yeah. And he's smart, he's nice, and I'm sure he would be all willing, and I'm sure he did already help Michael Penix Jr. quite a bit when it came to that. But yeah. Also, the Green Bay Packers trying to get the old tush push banned.
Yeah.
I know I'll give you my thoughts real quick before I let you give me your thoughts on that. Any team can do the tush push if they want to. Why ban it just because some team's better at doing it than you are? It's not like they're doing something that every other team can't do. So I am not in favor of banning particular things. As much as I'm not a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I still think they should be allowed to do the tush push if they want to. And I think banning stuff that one certain team does is you're targeting individual NFL franchises.
What is it, like the Eagles and the Bills, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Those are the two teams who really utilize
Josh
him more
Allen
than
really
anyone.
tries to step one side
Yeah.
or the other. He doesn't go or sliding over top the
It's
center.
not
like
to the
Jalen
same
Hurts.
level as what Jalen Hurts is. But yeah, man, like that's the thing of offense is we're gonna and this is one of the rare ones that goes against the offense, if you will, if they do end up banning it. But I just think if you're the offense, your job as a defense is to stop me. So I don't think, I hate the fact that that they're even thinking about banning this, and boo-hoo on the Packers for being the team
Bunch
to
of
kind
babies.
of get this started. Yeah, I hate the shift or banning the shift in baseball. Like if the defender wants to stand over there and you got the shortstop playing second base and the second baseman basically playing behind the first baseman, well, you've got a lot of air and opportunity over there on the third base side of the field. So hit it that way, you know. I don't like it, man. But hey, we'll see. I really can't see them banning it right now. But if they are serious about, I guess, health and safety, but that can't be a health and safety. Like, that's not as big of a deal as what the concussion situation is in the NFL, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I can't think of, I'm sure there has been, but I can't think of anybody specifically getting injured because of that play. Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel.
Now, if Tua was doing that, I'd say
Tua.
ban it for the Dolphins.
Yeah, just don't do it. Don't do it. Said he'd have a hard time voting to ban the play just because it's successful. Though he said it would be a different thing if evidence suggests the play is unsafe. But I personally don't see any evidence of it not being safe. I mean, if anybody,
I think if you're going to ban the tush push, then what are you going to ban the quarterback sneak? Are you saying that you don't want players to push others forward? Well, then then you got to stop the offensive linemen pushing the running backs forward and just picking them up and carrying them. Well, then at that aspect, then I better only see one defender. Like if multiple defenders can come, then multiple. There it is. She is. There's the rain. If multiple defenders can help, then I feel like the offensive players should be able to push forward. I don't know.
It's
That's
a slippery slope if you start banning stuff like that.
Now, I don't like the aspect I really don't like seeing offense, like when a running back's legs are in the air and he's gaining 7 yards. It's like, come on, that's kind of wild. But how do you stop that and stop it in the right way? I don't think that you can. So you just got to kind of live with that.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's almost like they're always looking for something to change, to ban, because I really don't. Every year we seem like we're talking about something that doesn't necessarily make sense. That's some heavy rain right there.
Yes, it is.
Flash flooding, some severe thunderstorm warnings out there. So if you're out there on the roads, take your time, drive safe, because you don't want to get in an accident out there. We got enough of that going on normal nice days. So take it easy out there on the road. Still can't believe Barry Bonds used a 32-inch bat. It looked like a little, not a toothpick, but it looked like a little toy bat in his hands, when he was always swinging it like a little wiffle ball bat there, the yellow ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was wild. The torpedo bats made Barry Bonds. Imagine what he'd do with a torpedo bat.
Imagine Barry Bonds with a torpedo bat. I'll tell you what, the Atlanta Braves need to get the things on a overnight delivery from
Get an order in.
Day delivery from Amazon Prime. My goodness gracious, it doesn't look well. We'll have the coverage right here for the Atlanta Braves. They got a late start tonight. It'll be 7:55 coverage starting for a 9:10 first pitch. So if you're a night owl like myself, we'll all be up together watching the Atlanta Braves or listening to the Atlanta Braves right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Absolutely. And, of course, the final 4 games will be on ESPN Northwest Florida this Saturday coming up, and looking forward to seeing who's going to win those 2. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit more about that as the week goes on. Hopefully, James Fife can fill in for me Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to keep the conversation going.
But if you're listening out there and you want to host a radio show for
Come on
a couple
in.
of days, hey, man.
If I can do it, you can do it.
That is not true. But we'll give you the opportunity, 850-215-6290. We just got to put you through a little screening process, which is being able to talk consecutively for 5 minutes making sense.
Yes.
I can't do it, so you'll be able to pass that.
No, lies. But speaking of David talking, Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4. We appreciate you hanging out with the Inside Drive. Stay safe and dry out there here in Bay County. We appreciate you hanging out. We will see you guys tomorrow.
pack.
Swing and a